Hello, friends. Mike Feeney here with the Union Labor Advisory Network podcast, where we elevate the voices that power the union labor movement. In today's episode, we're sitting down with someone who lives and breathes the value we fight for every day, Kevin Collins, Vice President of Market Development at Ullico. Kevin's a second-generation union member who grew up understanding the strength of solidarity, the value of skilled work, and the power of a pension you can count on. In this conversation, we're going to talk about Ullico's 100-year mission to protect and empower union workers, the importance of leadership succession, top-tier training centers, and financial literacy, and how innovations like Ullico Select is bringing benefits directly to hardworking members across the country. But beyond the policy and the plans, it's Kevin's passion for people, legacy, and long-term impact that truly shines. Whether you're on the job site, in the hall, or mentoring the next generation, this episode is one you won't want to miss. Let's get into it. Hello, friends, and welcome to the Union Labor Advisory Network. I'm Mike Feeney. Today, I'm extremely proud and privileged to be with Kevin Collins, who's the Vice President of Market Development with Ullico, on with us today to learn a little bit more about his background, history, and experience. I've known Kevin for pretty much my whole labor career. Kevin's got some lineage as well, so happy to have him on the platform today to learn a little bit more and to share with the audience today. So Kevin, thank you so much for being with us.
Hey, Michael, thanks. I greatly appreciate being here and sharing this time with you. Been a big fan of your platform since you started. You've done a great job, and it's kind of fun to be here. I've watched many of your episodes. It's fun to be part of one, so thank you.
So yeah, Kev, you're here right now. So for the audience,
absolutely.
Maybe you could share your background, your experience in labor, because I know I've been in this space for around 20 plus years, but you've been born into it. So maybe you could tell us a little bit of history about your background.
Absolutely. So I'm one of five children. I got two older brothers, two younger sisters. My late father was a union plumber out of Plumbers Local 5 in Washington, D.C. So we were raised in a union household, right? In my younger days, he got into union office, served as assistant business manager of the home local, and then business manager. Moved up to the international in 1985, right when I was graduating out of high school. So at that time, I went to go work as a plumber's helper and earned my metal trades card. So I consider myself a second generation member of the UA very proudly, and it's been a lifetime apprenticeship, if you will, being raised in the household.
That's great. And, from a union family into serving labor, maybe you can take the audience a little bit back, through your career as well, and how you, started or got started with Ullico, your organization, and obviously union-owned organization. So you could explain a little bit more about that.
Absolutely. So I always tell the young folks here at Ullico that your life's a journey. You don't know where you'll wind up. I'm very fortunate to be here at Ullico. I've done a number of different things in my career that, as you mentioned, they've all been around the labor movement. One of the most significant was when I was just coming out of school. I had gotten a job at the then Washington, D.C. Building and Construction Trades Council. It's a combined council with Baltimore now, but it was a standalone D.C. council back then. And they took a chance on me as a young 23-year-old to do some legislative lobbying work. That job gave me an introduction to all the other trade crafts and their business managers, and the ability to learn from some very smart people. I've taken that with me through my whole career, whether it's been and I'm very fortunate to have been brought back to Ullico. Our late leader, Ed Smith, along with our current president, CEO, Brian Hale, and president of Union Labor Life Insurance, Stephanie Whalen, were instrumental in kind of bringing me back in a few years ago. Forever thankful for that. When we lost Ed a handful of years ago, and the board, very rightly so, elevated Brian to president CEO, he had come to me and wanted me to join his staff and kind of serve him and the company at a similar level that he did for Ed, along with Corey Houlihan, our chief of staff. So I have a great job. I work across our entire enterprise. We are three different distinct companies. I get to work across the enterprise to serve our labor clients and our affinity through each of the business units.
That's incredible. So you have a vast knowledge of all the inner workings of how Ullico works from different divisions today, I'm assuming. So
if I don't have a vast knowledge, I'll ask Corey and she'll tell me.
Exactly.
We have some fantastic resources here. I had mentioned our business units. Stephanie Whalen, who I mentioned, runs Union Labor Life. Tina Fletcher for Union Casualty Group, and Joe Linehan for Ullico Investment Advisors. the best of the best, and I'm privileged to work with them. They've got great teams, so it kind of makes my job easier. But we are collectively serving the same affinity. So as we work across the business units, it's fun. We're inventive, we're adaptive, and we have a mission to serve labor, and we do it every day.
That's great, Kevin. And for the viewers, can you give us a little bit of overview of what Ullico is, the company as a whole, its background, if you can share some history about the
Absolutely.
company?
So listen, we're coming up on 100 years. In 2027, Ullico will celebrate 100th anniversary from its founding. You'll hear Brian when he talks about as early in the early 1900s in the minutes of the AFL's executive council meetings, there were talks about we need to start our own insurance company because the Wall Street firms weren't providing or were refusing to provide benefits to union and union members. They looked at it as dangerous work, and it is dangerous work, but unions do it better than anybody else. So they saw a need to start their own insurance company, and I believe it was like with a $500,000 loan, they founded the Union Labor Life Insurance Company. We're founded as a life insurance company. So 100 years, a world war and other world events, different recessions. Ullico has been here. It's been the steady provider of benefits for union and union members, and we can't wait to celebrate in 2027. It's a recognition of not only the work that we've done, it's what the labor movement in North America has done to promote Ullico and to promote benefits for union members and labor unions.
Yeah, that's great, Kevin. And I know Ullico has evolved. You've seen a lot more technology enhancements to make sure that you're reaching the vast union membership across the country. And I had a conversation probably a few months back with Brian, your CEO. Maybe you can elaborate a little about some of the member benefits, some of the supplemental programs that you've rolled out as well, which is that's direct to consumer. Those union members have the access and ability to take on those services as well.
Completely. We're very proud of, it's a division we call Ullico Select, if you will. It's almost a retail division, if you will. It was built for the union members in mind. We always say there's nothing better than the negotiated benefit package that a collective bargaining agreement gives its members. That's first and foremost. But there is still a need for a member to supplement what they receive in their contract, specifically for a life insurance policy. And Ullico Select allows members to either through mail campaigns that we do with several of the unions through an marketing agreement, and then for union members to go online to ullicoselect.com and find the coverage that fits right for them. We're not an agent-driven model. It's a discretionary voluntary purchase by the members themselves, but it allows them to kind of shore up their own family's financial health through a life insurance policy, through an accidental death policy. We have home and auto on there now. So it's for them to choose for themselves. It's a union-owned company. We've seen some great success. It pays claims. Which is sad on the life side because somebody had perished, but it provides that benefit for their family when they're not there anymore. So Ullico Select is a very proud thing for us to be a part of.
Well, it opens up a lot more opportunities. I mean, from understanding Ullico and its executive board level members. I mean, maybe you could elaborate too about your executive board. It really spans the gamut of different union labor leadership across the country, across the building and construction trades as well.
Exactly, and I should have probably mentioned that earlier. We were founded by the American Labor Movement. We're owned by the American Labor Union. Our shareholders are the labor unions, and then their interests are represented on our board by a number of great general presidents. We have some outside board directors as well, helping to guide the position of this company. So when we say that we are a labor-owned and labor-run firm, that's top to bottom. That's through our ownership, through our board. We have a very active board. They work very closely with our executive team to make sure that we are out there doing all we can to provide the services that we need, to be responsive, and to be the A+ company that we are.
That's great, Kevin. I everywhere I go, Ullico is either a sponsor or supporter of events that are going on, some of the conferences that go on. So I know you probably have a lot of airline miles banked for vacations or how you get to work, but it's really hats off and a tribute to your organization, your leadership, and just working directly with labor and now with the members to provide those better benefits, those services to support not only the union member, but their families as well.
Yeah, 100%. We believe in supporting those who support us. We're very proud to walk into an event or a charitable golf outing and see Ullico, the name positioned very prominently. We care. We want to be a part of what their successes are and the charitable work that they do, scholarship for union members. Again, it's who we are. It's baked into our DNA, and I think you'll always see us in that prominent position because we should.
Yeah, and Kev, for me, like we talked about, we've known each other for so long. You growing up in the labor background, and me just having the ability to work for a union-owned organization as well at the time, and learning from people like yourself the importance of the solidarity and looking out for one another, and just trying to make sure that you're there to help.
Exactly.
Because you're helping others, and I guess when you look at solidarity or serving others, that's what we do. And again, Ullico is, I guess, a benchmark or that brand, that organization that people know you are serving labor, and that's your main focus and the benefits that you provide. So it's exciting to know you, man. I mean, again, I'm just so happy to have you or know you in this particular position from the marketing development strategy and seeing the growth of Ullico and its progression, which is really exciting.
Oh, completely. Listen, it's as Ed used to say, it's a battle every day, but it's a battle that we want to be a part of, so we can add value to our affinity and help the labor movement in North America.
Exactly. So, Kevin, what advice would you give to a young person who's entering the union trades?
So the one thing I've heard time and time again is number one, attend your union meeting. That's probably one of the most important things a young new union member can do, is attend those meetings and become active in their local unions. I know firsthand, because they've had tons of conversations, you probably do as well. Local union leaders are always looking at their younger members and trying to figure out who's out there that's going to be the next generation of leadership here. So when they leave the local better than they found it, they hand it off to that next generation to do the same thing. So if a new member has any kind of ambition, get involved early. You can get on examining boards and finance boards before you're ever a union officer or an elected officer. You can serve as sergeant at arms. You can be involved in the charity work that they do. But I would say just go to union meetings, find out how you can get involved. They're going to love to have you, and they're going to love to mentor you so that they know when their time comes to collect their pension, enjoy their own retirement, that the local is going to be in very good hands. So I think it's an exciting time for any young member that has aspirations to kind of maybe put the tools down and work on the betterment of their membership. That's what I've always heard, and I believe in that.
Absolutely, Kevin. And I've seen some shirts. I go to a lot of different apprenticeships, like some of the contests. I recently was at a bricklayer apprenticeship contest, and some of the members or apprentices had the T-shirts, and on the back it's like, train your apprentice like your pension is dependent on it.
Exactly.
And it really is. It's train that next generation to make sure that they have the quality skills, education, and knowledge to be able to lead in the future, just like you mentioned before. And you see really great leaders like Ed Smith and Brian, yourself, making sure people are educated to the best of their ability, so that when that time comes, you can put it out or hand it off into good hands and know that they're going to be looking out for your best interests in the future, as well as for the retirees as well.
Absolutely. And when you see the training facilities that they built today, the new training facilities, the addition, these are top-notch, first-class organ. I don't have to tell you this. You're in and out of them all the time, but beyond impressive. And when they open up the training centers to local politicians and job fairs to kind of see firsthand what exists, it's been kind of in my work career, maybe earlier on, almost a well-kept secret that should be screamed loud and clear, and they're doing that. I know here locally at the Ironworkers Local 5 Training Center, they've had President Biden out there for different events, other politicians, the governor of Maryland. So those training centers, that's a testament to the success that they've had and success that they'll continue to have. And they always say training is the paramount thing for the success of the local going forward. So it's wildly impressive to see what those centers look like today.
Absolutely. I get excited. And for me,
yeah.
the meaning of the purpose or our mission really is to educate, promote, and support union labor. And nothing gets me more excited than running through some of these training facilities and seeing that the next generation of skilled trades people going through there. as well as some of the public sector organizations as well. I mean, some of these cops, court, firemen, the training that they get and how they're servicing their communities and making sure that they're getting those fair wages of which labor fights for. It really comes full circle, and it's a collective effort. And, it takes the service providers, the education, the knowledge to help people, have successful careers, good paying jobs, with retirements that are put in place for them. So again, it's really from a financial standpoint, work with, understanding Ullico, financial education and literacy is very important. And know your background too, Kevin. It's, you have a great job, you're making some great money, making sure your financials is in order for the future as well. And when we look at some building trades, sometimes your job is not 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. It does have the peaks and valleys, and you may make some really great money for 1 month, and then maybe in a different position the second month. It's managing that cash flow and those finances as well.
Yeah, when I first started out and I was working at the local building trades council, the old joke was if you see somebody driving like a 78 Cadillac, that was a good year for construction or something like that. That was always a little bit of a benchmark. They would say, I was always stuck in my head that was a good year. But you're right, there are ebbs and flows in the economy, kind of the political climate. I know that work's been fantastic for a handful of years, and I hope it continued to do so. I know the work on the books looks good and healthy. So the opportunities, but yes, it does come when there's dips and valleys, and it's the training, it's the organization, it's the work that the local unions are doing to help secure that work that kind of keeps those members sustained. Again, saw it firsthand growing up in my household. Again, as mentioned, that my father was a business manager, kind of see firsthand the amount of pressure that they put on themselves to make sure that they're taking care of people. And that's the benefit that those skilled tradespeople get when they're in that union, is they're not by themselves. They have a whole organization looking after their good and welfare, and that's a difference maker.
Yeah, and you mentioned before too, from the communication, just getting involved.
Yes.
Another anecdote people make mention I've seen going around too is go to your union meetings. It's like a gym membership. The more you go, the more you're going to get out of it, and the better you're going to be. So, you need to participate in these particular meetings so that you have your voice heard, and you have the ability to have your voice heard at these particular meetings, because each individual member is part of that bigger organization. So it's just really exciting to work with people of like mind, and know that we're working collectively for the better benefit of those particular members, regardless of labor union organizations, public or private or municipalities. We're here to support and serve others, which is great.
Yeah, I'll actually even call out a name. We talk about getting young people involved. I'll call out Kendall Martin, who's the vice president with the Ironworkers and runs the Mid-Atlantic region. Before he was business manager of Ironworkers Local 5, his predecessor was a guy named Jimmy Hops, and call him Hoppy. And I remember when Hoppy was retiring, and we're like, who's going to take over for you? And he's like, I got my eyes on this young guy that I think will do a great job, and I think the contractors will like him. And it was Kendall. And now Kendall's an international vice president, runs the Mid-Atlantic region. That's like the perfect example that you see of somebody who gets involved, who had some mentorship, and the sky's the limit. And great guy. I was just at his conference a couple weeks ago, so he's fresh in my mind. But I've always appreciated the work that he's done and the support he's given myself and Ullico.
That's great. That's great. I got a couple more questions. So looking back on your journey from union helper to VP, what are you most proud of, or what are some of the most proud moments that you've had in your career?
First and foremost, I'm proud to be serving the labor movement that supported me my whole life. It's an honor to, I'm not a journeyman mechanic. I have a metal trades card, so I did not serve an apprenticeship. Not as good as the rest of those members, because their talents are beyond means. But I do recognize that being raised in that union household, having our doctor's visits and our annual physicals to play high school sports, all that provided by, I carry that with me deeply. So to be able to work in an industry that also serves labor and helps labor, I feel like I'm giving back just a little bit that was given to myself and my family that raised us. It's why I proudly keep my book in my pocket and pay my dues every month. Again, I'm not an active working member, but it feels like I'm giving back just a little bit, a fraction of what has been provided to our family. Thank goodness that my father walked up that street from 12th and Michigan to 12th and Otis to get an apprenticeship in Plumbers 5. His father was not a union plumber. His older brother and my mother's older brother were both in the local, but he was a neighborhood kid looking for a chance to change his life. And I reflect on that. So what I'm most proud of is I get to work in this industry for a company like Ullico, for a president and CEO who's a third generation building trades member, Brian Hale. You don't find a whole lot of that everywhere. And as Brian says, when our feet hit the ground, we're happy to get going to work. And I feel the same way.
That's great, Kevin. I can't thank you enough for taking the time and just, being the person that you are and the friend of labor to so many. I just want to wish you all the best in your success in serving others and working with Ullico. Any final remarks, anything you want to leave with the audience today, any message or inspiration or information you'd like to leave with us?
So really quickly, I know that we had talked about before. I had a social media post that was around like our union picnics that we go to as a kid.
Yep.
That ice cream truck is rock solid. If you have a union picnic and you have an ice cream truck there, those kids will never forget it. I never forgot it. The people that have provided mentorship to me, I want to call out two names, Mike Dorsey and Giz Kazarowski, the two most other important people to me in my life outside of my late father. And, find good people to work with and you'll be able to do some wonderful things.
Wow. That's a powerful message too, Kevin, because again, you want to surround yourself with the right people. And those are conversations too, is like, look at your 4 closest confidants and people that you work with. And then that you'll be that 5th person,
Right.
like when you look at who do you surround yourself with for information, education, and support. So you're surrounded with some really high quality people, and there's nothing but success in the horizon for you. And
So if I can leave one final message, and this is one kind of personal that's close to me, we talked about life insurance earlier. People who do know me know that I lost my father 28 years ago as he was a sitting secretary treasurer of the UA. He had battled cancer. He passed at age 55. At age 50, he wanted to bench press 300 pounds, and he did it. At age 52, he was diagnosed with colon cancer. At age 55, he was gone. When we talk about things that we do that are meaningful to me in my time here, life insurance is a difference maker. I said before that negotiated benefits are the best. My mother, when he passed, would receive his pension, and that would sustain her, and we felt good about that. It was a life insurance policy that he had through Ullico. I think it was about $250,000 that provided my mother a safety nest egg. I've always said it's never about the money. I would trade every penny I have to have the man back. But when you lose a loved one, that's the wage earner, and you depended on those wages for your own livelihood. That's where life insurance comes in. That's a message that I'd like to leave above all else as we finish up this interview, which I'm very thankful for. But when it comes to the why we do our work, it's to provide that financial backstop to families that are having a tough time. And I've lived it personally. I've seen it happen. We just celebrated my mother's 80th birthday earlier and later this June. So that's why we do what we do.
Yeah, Kevin, I 100% agree with you. And I'm going to leave you with a note when you talk about fathers, me losing my father during COVID as well. It was my labor family that took care of my family, my mother. During the worst of times when you lose a father, Vietnam veteran, and all these particular Fort Hamilton Army base, these places are closed down. Who do you turn to? And labor surrounded me with that support. Their associations, groups, people that they work with, attorneys that helped me get my mother the VA benefits that she deserved. And without that help and support, I don't know where we would be. So for me, it's a give back and just making sure people understand the value and benefits of a unionized, construction career or, professional municipality or public sector career. Because my mother was a Catholic school teacher, so there was no, pension at the back end. If she was with the UFT, that might have been a whole different story. And knowing these values and benefits, it's our, a job and responsibility to make sure we share that information. And really, that's the premise of the ULA networks, to support, educate, promote union labor in our communities, and work alongside organizations like yourself to make sure we get that information out there. So,
absolutely, brother.
Thank you and the whole executive level of Ullico for your support, and look forward to seeing you at future events.
Yeah, thank you. This was fun. I appreciate it. I look forward to seeing you out on the road.
Other events going on right now too. It's great.
Definitely.
Kevin, thanks again. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Michael. Appreciate you. Bye.
All right. I'd like to thank all our sponsors for helping to build and promote the ULA network. It is because of you that we're able to support, educate, and promote informative content relevant to labor. Please subscribe, like, and share our channel and media. I'd like to thank you all for your support.